Hello, everyone. Sorry for the lateness. Welcome to the stream. We are back with another session. We've been pretty heavy on the D&D this week with our 4 one-shots. And then, of course, now we have this session coming up. We are getting close to the end, so we are now on session 85 of our Seregen campaign. And boy, what a episode we have in store for you. But before we get too far into it, let's let our party introduce themselves.
Ahoy there! I am the Banewall, but I will be playing Belzian Gilkis, who is the party's half-elf monk. Hiya!
I'm Amadeus, and I play Roger Mays, Wood Elf Assassin. Wood Elf Assassin? Yes, he would.
Hi, I'm Shade, and I play Ulrich Oakenhearth, the formerly human, currently vampire, paladin of conquest.
I am Jaeger. I play Yarvik Venison Printer, the Halfling Ranger.
I'm Tomic. I play Zippo, the Kobold Sorcerer.
And of course, I am the Wombat of DM, and I play everybody else. But also Jordan, the human bard. So welcome in, everyone. We are live. We are ready. We are going to kind of take things as they come today. We had a bunch of one-shots that will have intermingled the information for throughout the session, but ultimately we are coming up on our big battle for the campaign, I guess. So where did we last leave off? Well, the party kind of made battle plans for the oncoming battle that the army has arrived for. They strategized some with Carl as well as others. And then ultimately the last step was checking in with our allies at 3 points, which is where the 3 pieces of the wall once met. And Roger went and messaged Rift. And then Ulrich messaged the Queen, Cordelia. So ultimately with Roger's side, let's see here. Since we've had a bunch of rolls since then, basically on the Rift side, Rift said that the tear is plugged for now with a temporary wall, maintained but with losses. Elves have arrived. Orcus not here, thankfully. Need permanent solution to tear. And then furthermore said, that sounds like a bad idea. How can we help? I'm not familiar with that name. Orcus location. Vampire reinforcements with you. Riff says hi. So that's kind of where we left off with kind of that question pregnant in the air. And the party kind of turned to see if Ulrich had finished communicating on his end. With Ulrich's one shot, we ended with Ulrich approaching the party, having just finished communicating. So I'm going to let Ulrich come up to the group and, well, say his piece.
Hey, y'all. So, not looking good down south. Any luck your way? Before I get into all the bad news?
Well, we found out that the return orbs will bring you back to the wall. They won't go any farther than that. Or no, actually, no, they don't. So scratch that. I forgot. Zippo would remember. It just kind of blinks you out of existence for a minute.
Well, that's great. That's exactly what we needed to hear.
Basically what we expected. It just happens to be the worst case.
Yep. So, down south, they are running into, well, essentially, the battle's down there, and they need immediate assistance. So
We cannot aid Relic and Necrata simultaneously. Seregen's army is too small.
I recognize that, and so I was kind of hoping, since the battle seems to have moved, I was kind of hoping you had found maybe the battle wasn't as present in Relic, but that isn't the case then.
Depends on what you mean by present. They have a temporary wall set up, and they say that Orcus isn't there. I assume because he is busy in Necrata. But
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how much help we will be. I was expecting to ask someone who actually participated in putting the first walls up. The dragons and the elves defending Relic.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just trying to think here because it's in Manure, which I am trying to remember where is that on the map.
So if you look, it's the white text down at the bottom on top of the mountains.
Right. Oh, of course.
And I'm a lot less comfortable leading 3,000 humans.
Yeah. No, I
into Manir.
I understand that. I agree.
We'd be marching these people to their deaths, and not in the sense of fighting for the land, but as cattle.
Well, do we know that the Vampire Queen is telling the truth? Is she currently bound by an oath that would require her to tell the truth, or whoever you are talking to in this circumstance?
The nature of my pact with her, in it surrounded the aspect of us not attacking each other as nations.
Okay, so in this instance, she's bound to tell the truth.
That's not exactly what I'm saying, but it's I am saying that I think I don't really see. I agree with you. It's not a good situation, but I don't think that she's, hey, we want food. I think she's hey, we want allies. He's down.
And she also may very well, as so many people seem to be now, playing the long game of what's going to happen after this battle, where she would effectively be removing Seregen's ability to defend itself from the board post-Orcus campaign. Just a thought. I'm not saying that we rule this out entirely, but if everybody else is playing the post-conflict theory crafting game, I think it's in our best interest to do the same.
I agree. I'm not saying we can't help them, but we had pledged our forces elsewhere. We can reevaluate the situation if we have to, but ultimately sending the army to clash with Orcus head-on seems unwise, and Manir is well defended from my knowledge.
They do have the Draco Liches.
If Queen Cordelia is unable to defend Mayhanir with what forces she has available, we would love to be able to help her, but we have prior obligations.
Sure. Also, our personal goal was to use this battle and these forces as a, we need to help defend, but our goal is to get to the rift and into the rift. So our best chance to do that is to the fight in Relic.
Is there another rift that she knows of in Necrata?
I could use the other sending scroll, I suppose. She did not. She just said that Orcus has come, and he's been denied there. He and a horde are attacking Maynir. And casualties are high on both sides. So I suppose, really, I do need to respond to this anyway, but it's going to be very difficult to answer with a question.
Well, so you were the one that initiated the sending, so she was responding to you. If that's what you mean by the 20 by responding, just
right, but I can't.
Okay,
right.
You responding as in sending another scroll, right?
Right.
Okay.
If I send another scroll and ask her a question, I don't have like a third one to be like, okay, well now that you've answered my question,
right?
I did ask her how, and I will be honest, she did not respond to this. In fairness, duress, I'm sure, but how I asked how they're going to feed their forces while at war. Yeah.
Did she request assistance?
Yes, she asked if we will come.
I mean, maybe yes, eventually. But we have prior obligations.
Alright, I mean, I will simply say we will come once we are able.
We'll do what we can.
Yeah, in theater scale war, she's the distraction.
Well, for now, I think we were hoping Relic to take that position, but
I would imagine what the plan from Orcus's side is that what's the classic tactic, right? Strike at the underbelly. Split our forces, make it more difficult to focus on one fight. That would make sense. That's what I would do if I were Orcus.
I am concerned that we spend a lot of time putting out fires and not enough time quenching the source.
So, and forgive me, my mind is a buzz right now. You said, now I agree that closing the tear is our goal. We do need to kill Orcus, though, presumably. That is going to be something we'll have to do. So, you all did find a good way to close this tear?
Ah! No.
Exactly. So this is part of my problem, is I don't disagree with anything y'all are saying, but to march into the tear, into the unknown, is that the wisest choice? I'm thinking about the fact that, yes, Orcus is trying to play us and presumably can just move as he wills, wherever. But if it is down in the south, and we have a chance to kill Null, that may be a good shot for us. That may be the thing that ends the tear. It's a spell. It's a concentration.
So I think you just said it, right? He can go anywhere he wants. He can miss as many times as he wants. He can throw as many distractions as he wants. We've got to get him to come to us. And what's the best way to do that? Strike him where it's going to hurt him. Strike him where he lives. We could chase him all around Seregen and never be able to get him. We got to make him come to us. That way we get to pick the field of battle and the strategic advantage, while maybe not at ours, it's always better to choose the field of battle upon which you're going to fight. At least that's what I've read. I mean, I just spent a lot of time sitting up in trees reading books. So, but it seems to me that makes sense, right?
I agree, but my worry here is you're saying we're choosing the field of battle, right? Yeah, we are. We're choosing his home. Presumably, we don't know what's through that rift. We don't know if we can even survive in that rift.
Sure.
True.
But what's the alternative? Walk into Necrata and wait for him to attack Seregen while our army is elsewhere?
Well, I suppose...
Because we're on number 3, right? Relic was first, Necrata next. Where's he going to go after that?
No, I get it.
This is not a fight that we can win this way. This is not if he's got the strike and move advantage. We can't win that way.
Right. I'm not saying we march south. I'm just saying before. I don't like the idea of that we're going to march into the rift. I don't mind the idea that we're going to march to the rift. I just...
And to do what, though?
I don't know. I'm just saying we are flying by the seat of our goddamn pants and assuming that we're going to be able to close the rift somehow. Right? I mean, if we're all worried about assumptions here and worried about, well, he can move around and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying we have no good ideas.
If the only thing we were concerned about was saving our own skin, why would we go to help anyone? Our army is better at home. Queen Cordelia decided her army was better at home. Relic didn't get a choice. But I bet they would have decided the same thing. But we're smarter than that. We're better than that.
And I will remind you that Carl did have some ideas for disrupting the gate.
So
he assumed there would be a source of power on the other side. Something sinister, something disruptible.
Yes. I'm 100% with you all. I'm not going to deny going there, but I just wanted to have this realistic conversation. We don't know what makes him move, and if you are all in on going to a place unknown, I'm there.
Y'all gave up staying at home and having a slow, quiet retirement when you ignored me and walked through the wall.
I mean, we've been kind of exploring the unknown most of our journey.
In fairness, I also didn't ignore you. I listened, but all right. Sorry.
I
just wanted to explore the option of...
Jordan says, I am paying my dues for that, Roger.
I mean, but think about it, Roger.
Yes,
we got to meet dragons, so it was worth it going through the wall.
And so are we.
So but if we didn't go through the wall, we wouldn't have seen dragons. Come on now.
Zippo, I can't argue with you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's make our way. I will message Cordelia and say and explain that we have a plan.
Roll.
I would just, because you gotta be careful how you word it, because you don't know what words will set off and break the contract. if there will, or any will. So maybe be like, we will be there as soon as we can get the army there. You know, so it's pretty vague.
The word we're looking for is feasible. We will bring reinforcements when it is feasible.
Why do we care about if their feet are able?
Zip.
Roger will explain what the word feasible means to Zippo.
Oh, okay.
Inspiration.
I already have it. Someone else take it from me. I haven't rolled any dice in so long. I can't use this for anything. But no. We have already made promises to aid Relic. Necrata has already made promises to aid Relic. Seregen cannot aid Relic and Necrata simultaneously. We will honor our first promise because it seems like it still might be necessary.
I want to be very clear. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then we'll evaluate whether we can make that second promise.
I just want to be very clear about my motives here. Obviously, I have a vested interest in Necrata, unfortunately, but I'm not trying to get us there to aid them out of... That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying our target is there, and yeah, it's slippery, but we also, Roger, as wisely said recently, we cannot assign motive to things that are human motives to things that are not human. We don't understand what the fuck Null is about, but we do know it is currently to the south, and I just wanted to put forward, hey, target located. Who knows how long it's going to be there, and hopefully it has the human motive of wanting to protect that rift.
I appreciate the information. I'm conflicted about what to do with the information, but I appreciate having it nonetheless.
So, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to go back to Necrata. We didn't have a good time down there.
I had a blast with Bartholomew.
Yeah, well.
Not all of us enjoyed being swallowed, but
I mean, look, yeah. So let's go to this rift, and hopefully our merchant friend is Rat.
I mean, Carl is the second smartest person that we know of, including myself being first.
We're fucking doomed.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It seems like one of our biggest motivating factors currently is hope. We're just gonna have to hope.
Carl says in the background, "Thank you, Zippo."
You're welcome, Darth.
Carl. Forgot you were here.
Sorry, Carl.
I love how Carl is there and heard all of our coverage.
Correct.
And say,
including the part where I walked through the wall.
Yep.
Wait.
He's not close to the party. You just can hear him call out, "Thank you, Zippo."
Hey, Carl.
It's okay. We gave him the book, Ulrich. He's gonna read it eventually. He'd find out.
What? Nah. And in the ring, I'm like, I was more just kind of concerned about the fact that this guy was listening while I said I had a vested interest in Necrata. Don't really love that. You know.
We all have a vested interest in Necrata. Some of us more than others, perhaps. But
yeah, I got to get me some Dracoliches and Cartholomew's.
Yeah, Zippo especially wants some of the wild fauna of Necrata, such as they are.
Maybe some of those flying head things.
No, nobody wants those. Nobody wants those blasted demon creatures.
Yeah, they killed Toe and almost got Belzian.
You think if I give the toe one to the elves, they'll be mad at me?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Carl may have
Also, we killed the shit out of it, so it's
Okay,
definitely
you're
not
right.
racist
You're
anymore.
right. I forgot about that.
So when Ulrich yelled out to Carl to come on over, he approaches. It takes him a bit. He was about maybe like 200 feet away, far enough away that the group felt comfortable talking out loud instead of in the rings. But yeah, he called out and apparently heard. So
Carl's family at this point, it's cool.
What's he gonna tell Marius that Marius doesn't already know?
Yeah, well, it's not Mary I'm concerned about some people.
Ulrich, he probably
Will
just
anyone
thinks
believe
we
them?
he thinks we just have an interesting vest. That's what we'll go with.
Yeah, there you go. Carl, how confident are you feeling about going into this rift?
are you asking for a percentage or?
More like a fraction.
To the thousandth place should be precise enough, I think.
Well, my plan hinges on a few items. Firstly, if the tear is enterable at all. If not, we're going to have to use planar travel to get there. A gate. 2, I won't likely be able to disrupt it alone. We're going to need to make sure we bring with us other powerful spellcasters, hopefully ones that were mentioned in our conversation earlier today from Relic that might be able to come and assist in disrupting. I would need likely 4 more individuals of matching power, and I'm thinking 5 purely on the fact that it took 5 people to sacrifice at the gate in Licht. So numbers do seem to have power in this world. I might as well match it. We might need less, but I'd rather have more than less. And then lastly, that we are able to disrupt it at all is the question. But if you were able to destroy a small gate, then a large gate seems to be destroyable. It's just a matter of doing it. So there's a few ifs, yes. But
percentage-wise, you'll put it at
provided that we don't die immediately, I'd give it an 80%.
all right.
That's huge.
75. I'll be pessimistic.
That's less huge, but still pretty huge.
C's get degrees or so, I've heard.
Zibbo will look to Roger. What's a degree?
Degree is a measure of a circle. Usually there are 360 of them, so having 70 of them is pretty good.
And when you cast out on a boat into the sea, you'll find circles.
So many circles.
We're raising them right.
We're raising them anyway. It's not like he can get any shorter.
Hey. And who knows, we may raise him later. If he dies.
I do not have the power to do that, but if you do, that would be damn convenient.
Well, if a police officer questions some of the PhD, they're giving them the 3rd degree, right?
Oh boy.
Sorry to interrupt. I just had to.
No, you're good. I mean, I have nothing more to argue about. I'm totally on board with you guys. And I will not reach out to the queen. She doesn't know that I have this scroll.
You're just gonna leave her on red?
I guess so.
We can
Red is a
blame
pretty
you.
good color.
Yeah.
We can respond to her. I'm just concerned about using the last scroll we have.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. So,
In fact, if we had more scrolls, I would be encouraging you to respond to her and let her know we have things we need to take care of first, but we do intend to come.
Is there any way to make these scrolls on the road with our magical resources or with the assistance of Carl, or are these... What's the nature of them?
You
Are
need
they
to-
like super rare magical things?
It's like a spell scroll, aren't they?
All right. To clarify, is this now outside the rings or inside the rings? Because I heard a mixture of the two at this point.
Oh, I thought we were talking exclusively verbally.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the ring. Once I started talking to Carl, I was back out.
Okay.
So Yarvik's just asking the question, since the scrolls are so... since we're limited on these, just do we have the ability to make more? Because we've got a whole military, we've got other spellcasters, we've got Carl. Is this something we could fabricate?
Well, I can cast Sending, and I still have a few left.
Ow.
And I have a few Sending scrolls. I don't carry too many because, well, I can cast Sending. But I do have a few I could probably dig up.
Cool. So we still, we need to be brief and think about what we say, but I think we may be able to not quite be on our last scroll. So if clarity of communication is of importance and it's going to require 1 or 2 more rounds, I think that's probably... It's more important to communicate clearly if we got to take 1 or 2 more trips here, 1 or 2 more rounds of communication.
All right. I mean, if no one's opposed to me using the scroll, I'll just reach back out to her. And
I do not want to be sitting on our last scroll.
Okay.
I fear us needing to quickly communicate a change of information, as the situation could change quite rapidly, especially with our intended plan. And being able to send one last message might be quite valuable.
yeah, I don't disagree with you.
If we have access to other scrolls via Carl or otherwise, or access to other sendings via Carl or Jordan or otherwise, we should use every other resource first. How much information do you need to send a sending to someone, Carl?
Well, I need to be familiar with the creature.
What counts as familiar? Do you need to have met them, or would a description be sufficient?
Well, I would have to study the creature for a bit. Usually a scry first, or I meet them. Or, go ahead.
Ulrich and the Queen they're pretty intimately linked. Could you kind of get a little secondhand study by studying Ulrich?
It doesn't work that way.
I mean, I don't think that there's any harm in us not responding to her.
But again, I can provide scroll of sending, a few scrolls of sending. I will be billing it to Marius, of course.
I love that.
I do love spending Marius's money. This is nice. I always like spending somebody else's money.
It is the best way to spend, after all.
I agree. That's why I often don't have any money. Haha.
So he walks off, heads back to his wagon, and about 10 minutes later comes back with 3 scrolls. He's dusting one off as he's walking up. He holds them out. Who's taking them?
Did you bring enough for everyone?
There's 3.
He has 3.
Oh.
So,
You get the feeling that Carl doesn't really work in scrolls. You don't remember any scrolls like on display in the shop. He works with other material.
What are the chances we're gonna split up, gang? Pretty low. I think Roger could hold on to them if he is okay with that.
Sure. We'll give one to Ulrich, of course, to contact Queen Cordelia, but...
well, I have one in my possession. I can always just use that.
No. Why are you begging for mine?
Well, I'm not.
You were weird, though.
What? No, I'm making sure that no one might be using my scroll.
Oh, I thought you were asking about using my scroll.
No. I'm making sure no one minds that I use because it's a valuable resource. And I had 2, and I just wanted to make sure no one minded that I use a second one.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
It's our scroll, comrade.
Alright. Ulrich cast it. He will say to Cordelia. Well, before he casts it, apologies, he will plan out his words. So he will say,
And he goes back over the wall.
yeah, I mean, he will go to the wall at the correct time.
Thank you,
beforehand,
Zippo, for making sure that happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I assume he's not a fucking idiot, but let me say, he will say, we will come aid
If we can.
when feasible.
My man.
Rift. Sorry, not rift, because we gotta be careful about this terminology. Portal, I'll say, because we have a rift and we have a rift, a tear.
Is it
Tear.
Yeah, tear can be closed. That's 10. And or possibly ending all of this. That's 15. Stay strong. We shall
assist. Stay strong. I do not plan to abandon. That's 23.
I might as well add the U at the end of that. Or Necrata.
We'll add Necrata for 24.
Ooh, does y'all count as one word?
I mean, check my Discord status. It's Yaldentiv.
That's one word, right?
It looks like it communicates 5 words, but it's 1, baby. Now that's the power of quadruple contractions.
That word is pregnant. It has so many contractions.
Ooh. It's got at least 4 other words inside of it.
And so once, if everyone agrees with that message, Ulrich will go to the side of Necrata to cast the spell and say those exact words.
Okay, if you could post those in the Roll20, please.
Yep. Apologies, I had to check on something with these cats. They're not
You're good.
hyperactive dumbass mood.
The scroll spell is just buffering. Yeah. There's a lot of ping when you send a message that far.
I'm pretty sure again that's 5, 6, 7. Okay, exactly 5.
Okay. She responds, "Hunt well, don't die. We will do the same. Null is powerful. Be swift. He has taken some of our forces for his own."
Ulrich will go back to the group. Hey, good news, Zippo. You're probably gonna get to meet a Draco Lich.
Hell yeah.
How is that good news?
I didn't say it was good news for you, or me, or anyone.
It's good news for the Draco Lich.
Do they
Yeah,
even
I
have
guess.
stomachs?
But really, as guess as a Draco Lich, almost every day is good news for you.
Alright. Shall we?
All right. With that, is the group ready to teleport back to the army? Or is there anything else you want to communicate, Roger, to Rift?
I think everything we told Riff is still true. I don't think we have any new information that requires a sending scroll.
Oh, we should tell him about the vampires being attacked by Null. Because so he knows that the vampire reinforcements aren't just not showing up, that they're actually fighting.
I think we can tell him that when we get there. Because if Relic is in a state where they can wait, they don't need that information immediately, and it's not worth the scroll. If they were going to act on that by flying out to Necrata to aid, that would be different. But I've gotten the impression that they think they still need to hold where they are. And in that case, it's not worth the scroll. Because we are going there, right? We can just tell them when we get there. If the Bronze Clan was going to fly to Necrata, then yes, we should send them. But I don't think we're asking them to do that, and I don't think they want to. The reason to call Necrata back and tell them we're not coming is to say, hey, don't expect us. We're still going to Relic. And if we can take it to Necrata after we solve the problem in Relic, we will. But no promises.
Right. Carl ushers everyone back into his wagon. At this point, once everyone is safely inside, he steps back out, and you feel that familiar, uneasy feeling as the wagon and you, by proxy, begin to shrink, and you can see the world through the windows getting bigger. He picks up the cart, the wagon, and you feel a strange sensation as if you're being kind of tugged inside out, and suddenly you are in a different place. The world begins to normalize, and he opens the door and says, "We're here." At this point, he says, "I'm going to work on the scaffolding downstairs, and then I'm going to rest for the night so I can get my spells back. I will see you in the morning."
Good night.
Have a good rest, Carl.
All right. At this point, what happens between the five of us? Our one shots happen. So Yarvik, since you did not have a one shot, you go to the Adventurers Guild and have a nice strong drink.
Correct.
Zippo, you do your thing. Belzian, you do your thing. Roger, you do your thing. And Ulrich,
I think I already did my
you
thing.
already did your thing prior. So everything's been done for you as of this point. So my question for you is, on your last night before the battle, what would your character be doing?
I think Ulrich would. He doesn't have to feed yet, so I think he'd just be trying to commune with death.
Okay, as in like the god, like praying.
Just praying, yeah.
Death or war?
He's moved to death since he's dead. I'm dead.
Yeah, your clock's ticked 1 hour further, it seems.
Yep.
All right. Cool. That being said, just to go over the timeline of things, and we can kind of identify this in a bit, but so the three, basically the night happens. Roger, I think you got your rest early and then went and did your thing. Belzian, you go to sleep rather late, and Zippo, you do not sleep at all.
Roger.
We all will return to each other after these one shots have happened at Adventurer's Rest. Jordan stayed with the army in a tent that he has nearby Marius. So is not at Adventurer's Rest. Zippo, you enter the Adventurer's Rest or the Adventurers Guild, sorry, to Marius leaving the guild, and the rest of the group was awoken to some louder discussion from Marius and Wolfgang from the office, and it kind of echoed out. It wasn't exactly a fight, but ultimately it did get a bit emotional. we shall say. The gist of the fight, it wasn't a fight. The gist of the emotional dialogue was basically Wolfgang willing to contribute, but unwilling to join the ranks. He, of course, allowed anyone who wished to join the ranks of the army from the Adventurers Guild to do so. But he is also he's also trying to protect the town while the army is away. So was trying to balance that. Marius was trying to, get what he could while he was there to help in the oncoming battle. So ultimately, that's kind of what occurred there. From at that point, the group kind of comes together, and you can feel free to react to what you learned or inform the group of what you've learned or did in your one-shots in whatever order you'd like. So, Roger, Zippo, Belzian, whoever wants to go first.
So, guys, I got this cool new staff and a cool new stone. I do have to tell you, I talked to Atlan, and he said that the elemental planes are pretty similar to this plane, like they're a mirror image, kind of. And, like, you know where you're at on this plane while you're on that plane. So, if we go by that logic, I don't know if the realm that Orcus is from is similar, but if it is, it would make sense as to why it was there, because the wall blocked them as well. It blocked the elemental planes, so maybe that's why he was stuck in there, is maybe the wall kind of trapped him in, and he didn't have enough power to be able to come out until the wall fell.
Ah, that makes sense. We might have to rebuild the wall. I was concerned that was the case.
Well, it happened once. I'm sure it could happen again.
Also, if anybody sees Dara, maybe let him know water elementals are going to be going through the river in town and not to bother them.
If we get the opportunity to, we could pass that message along, at least to the town guard.
Maybe the Port Authority. Well, that's interesting. We'll have made friends with all these foreign nations we didn't know were there, only to immediately maybe have to build a wall again.
I had an eventful evening myself. Met some old friends from back home, and it appears that my younger brother Finn has joined the army. I delivered him the bracelet I bought so long ago in Jewel, and got to spend some time catching up.
How's Finn doing?
He's the same as ever, older.
Does he know magic?
Perhaps. He's really more of an herbalist than anything else.
How much older is he than you?
Younger.
Yeah,
and decades. But that doesn't quite mean the same for all the humans in the group, does it?
decade seems like a long time.
You'd think.
I also ran into somebody that I know. There's actually some monks from my sanctum visiting here, Licht, and they're helping with the military effort, and have become something of demonologists on their own time. We shared some information about demons, and let me tell you about demons. Belzian would go on a rather excitable rant about things like closets, which look like demon goblins, the Miraliths, which are those six-armed crazy sword thing, snake lady things we saw come out of the tear in the first place.
Zippo, you immediately recognize that description as your master when she was in true form.
I despise those ones.
I think we all should. And
No, those ones there's one specific one I gotta find of those ones.
do you know if the one you're looking for has any distinguishing marks compared to your run of
liar.
the demon? Okay, we'll keep an eye out for the lying demon. Belzian would basically spill a small Pokedex of demons to y'all, including that flying one that Zippo disintegrated. Apparently known as the Eater of Hope, and they're capable of taking over small populations and sapping their hope and happiness and joy. And that one that we dispatched may have been affecting Lit. Maybe. It's a theory. A demon theory. Demons... Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, is the Quasit a normal type, or...
It's probably fire type, if I had to guess.
It's more of like an Eevee, you know? Like it could be whatever type.
It depends on which what you expose it to.
Yeah.
Also, interesting news on things like demon portals, because remember we did encounter a portal demon. If you destroy the portal, it may well get rid of many of the things that have passed through it.
All the more reason to close the tear.
That is honestly the best fucking news.
Yeah, last but not least, for sure. If we close the tear, will pretty much all the demons disappear? Hard to say, but willing to find out.
I mean, I feel like we could probably bump that up from 75 to 80.
Always the optimist. When I sort my notes a bit better, I will share them in our general chat.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to talk about from their one shot?
Nope.
Ulrich, I know you were going to say something to Amadeus out of session. I don't know if that was something you wanted to say to Roger in session or not. So just double checking.
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
Under no circumstance should he know how much he respects him.
Fair enough. All right. Well, then with that, Ulrich, I'd like you to make a death saving throw, please.
Great, yeah. Yeah. Apologies.
No, you're good.
They knocked over something in the other room, trying to clean it up a bit. Death saving throw is going to be just a basic D. Kind of weird the death saving throws are just straight up and down D20.
I mean, it's a flat coin flip, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a coin flip with a 5% of get fucked and a 5% of better than expected, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm on the fucked side of 4.
Okay. Everyone, Ulrich is kind of listening intently to everyone's conversation about what happened with them, and he keels over, collapses suddenly. He just kind of straightens up. All the color in his face vanishes, and he falls down on the ground, stone cold. And we're going to go to our break. And when we come back, we'll kind of react a little bit more to that.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. We'll see you in 10 minutes, folks. Whereupon we will continue our session. See you in 10, folks. Don't go too far. All right, we are back from the break, everyone. Thank you for the wait. Hope you came back as well. So welcome back. Ulrich just dropped dead. So Ulrich, you internally hear a bell toll, and then basically all the lights go out. You collapse to the ground and are unconscious.
All right. Ulrich,
Yeah.
I don't have a response. He's unconscious.
Ulrich.
Yep, I'm already.
So is this happening like right after he does the sending to the queen, or is this like well after?
This is the morning, remember? So it's just become morning. Everybody's kind of talking about their days that they just had, right?
It's like in the lobby of Adventurer's Rest.
Yeah, you're in your room, kind of talking about the night that you just had, and Ulrich is kind of taking it all in, and then just fucking falls over.
Well, that's not a good sign.
And it's not like taking a pulse is going to do anything. Shove him in his coffin, I guess.
Just roll him in and close the door.
I don't know. I mean, my job was always to ensure people got into this state, not to try and get them out of it.
Fair enough.
All right, Ulrich, I've messaged you a few things. In your mind, there are two figures. There is you, and there is you. One is the old you, and one is the new you. You are kind of looking looking at both of you. You're looking at yourself. What do those two figures do?
I think that I think the new one would attack the old one with diplomacy.
Okay.
So, old one is very much interested in just saying, well, this is an interesting situation. What should we do? And the new one would like go in for a swing.
Okay. Give me a intimidation roll. Or whatever that is in 5th edition. Yep, intimidation. Okay.
It's an 11. Ignore the fact that it just rolled 3 times for some reason.
Okay. Without armor, what's your AC?
Without armor?
Yeah.
That is a good question. I believe it's 13. Yep, 13.
Okay. He pounds against an invisible barrier at you. Like he tries to clock you across the face. And you feel it hit you, but it kind of glances off. Hitting some sort of natural force. Your heart beats once. While this is going on, anybody doing anything outside? So you're getting him into his coffin?
That's the goal. As far as I know, that's the thing he needs.
Sure. So who's helping to get this big person into the coffin? Is it going to just be Roger?
We can get him in there. I will help.
I think we probably all are. It's like, oh, come on.
Okay.
Everybody grab a limb.
Zippo takes the non-dominant hand. It's smaller.
Sorry, guys, I got his hair.
I'm pretty sure based on previous experiences, vampires and such don't like being healed? Question mark. So I'd like to make a medicine check to see what the heck is going on. Did he just like have a stroke?
Sure. So while you lay him down into the coffin with Amethyst, with Roger, excuse me, and then you kind of a medicine check. Give me a roll, and while you're doing that, Ulrich, so you just had a blow against you. You feel that heartbeat. What happens next?
All right. So we're fighting. Great. Ulrich will try and return the blow.
Okay. I would say intimidation back, correct? Or do you have a different type of thing you'd like to do?
I mean, I think anything else I would want to do is the same. Like, it would be the same modifier.
Correct. But
Yeah.
flavor
So-
can be different, right? So whatever.
Yeah, I think. You know what?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do something stupid, and I am going to say it's a survival check.
Okay.
Boy, howdy, that is way dumber. It's a five. Again, I don't know why it's rolling so many times.
Sure, that's fine. All right, Bane, you hear a single heartbeat emit from Ulrich as you put your ear to his chest.
Oh, heartbeat jump scare. Whoa.
Yeah, it's like a boom, boom, like a very heavy thud.
Don't we try to shock him awake?
Yeah, you can try if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the party like,
His heart's beating for some reason. Maybe you could make it stop again. I mean that's good? Question mark.
I don't know what's good or not. I just don't have anything else I can do to help him. Let's see here. So I have. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna. That's not a good idea the way it goes. Yeah, I think I'm just. Yeah. Well, see, like my thought process was, he's already an undead, so I feel like just shocking him's not gonna do anything either way. So my brain immediately went to the spell I know the most of, which is psychic lance. But then I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Shock his brain awake with a fucking lance hit in the head.
All right, Ulrich, you have one more action. What happens next?
I think Ulrich will simply try to, I think, grapple the other one.
Okay. And what does new Ulrich do?
I think the new one would accept the grapple, but try and bite.
Okay. All right. So if he's accepting the grapple, I think that's an uncontested grapple, right? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
Old Ulrich kind of goes up and tackles onto the Dark Ulrich, right? And Dark Ulrich kind of accepts the grapple, and from his hands sprout vines, dark vines, blood red, dark vines that wrap around Old Ulrich. Make an intimidation roll, please. Okay.
That's a 16.
And that beats your AC, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay. You bite into Ulrich's neck, and as the group is kind of contemplating what to do next, Ulrich, your eyes shoot open. You are back alive. You get the feeling that something just happened somewhere else. Your master is in danger.
Got it.
Welcome back, sleepyhead.
Yeah. Hey, let's we need to get to that port or that tear right quick, because I think that Cordelia is probably in a bit of a bind based on. I don't really know if I can explain it. I got a good sense.
What
Like,
happened?
I passed out, and inside.
You're dead. And Roger's going to say that over the rings, not out loud. You're dead. There is none of your own blood is still pumping through your veins. You can't just pass out. What happened?
Back in the rings. I mean, that's what happened. I was out, and then all of a sudden, I was in. It was like I was wrestling with myself. Okay, like there was another me. There was clearly me before I was dead, and then me after I was dead. And I tried to talk. Me before I was dead tried to talk to me after I was dead. It got hairy, and I woke up and I had just a very strong feeling that Cordelia is in imminent danger. And that apparently is going to impact me.
What's the actual text of the contract you signed with her?
Pulling that up.
Because we can't have you having another fainting spell mid-combat with Orcus.
Are you looking it up, Ulrich, or do you need help?
Yeah, no, I'm looking it up. But if you have it handy, please, by all means.
It's time to go fight Portal.
All right. Ulrich has. Okay. All right. All nations part of this agreement will respect and work to maintain borders of the wall.
So that's the original pact for the group. The pact that you have with the Queen is a little more loose. So ultimately, she gave you details about what the conditions of becoming an undead are in terms of the weaknesses and your proclivities to some degree. She makes sure that you knew that you were asking her to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically the pact is that that is not one of servitude.
Yep.
So neither can harm the other nor challenge each other's leadership.
Yep.
Basically seeing you as an experiment in expanding her kingdom.
Right.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Ulrich goes over it. It's fairly loose, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
and it really was just about the fact that neither is to have real power over the other or the ability to really harm the other.
If you are talking, Roger, you are muted.
So there's nothing in there about you being tied to her state? Nothing in there about you being affected by her state?
No, not in so many words, no. But this is largely an experiment. I am, in her eyes, I am, in many regards, an extension of her in some respect.
I don't think this changes anything with our plan.
I agree.
It
Which is
just
why
makes you less reliable.
I'm nothing if not a disappointment for you, Roger.
No, you have strict parents. I'm sure you're used to that.
All right. With that, anything else that the party's doing?
All of the panicking is internal.
All right. So let me kind of go over the plan that's in place at the moment. We're going to be loading up as much of the army as possible into Carl's wagon on the first and basement floor of his establishment, whereupon he will teleport to 3 points, walk across the wall, and gate to a location. That location needs to be given to me. I would like the party to select this from the map at present so that I know exactly where you want Carl to take you in relation to the battle. That being said, you will be arriving at the battle with a third of the army. He cannot take more than 1,000 people, if that, in his bag. Which means that this is a one-way trip for today because he's using both of his teleportations to get to the tear. That means that if you were planning on attacking the tear today, because you're, which is what it sounds like, and not waiting the 12 days to get the entirety of the army across, then that will be something to note, right? They'll only be going in with 1,000 instead of 3,000. And if you're going in with that force, Carl will not be able to come back with the other 2,000.
I thought we were going to bring everyone to the triple point, then bring everyone to the terror.
So
it's the same amount of days. We arrive later, but we arrive faster, right? And Carl doesn't have to spend any time away from the bulk of the army.
So let's kind of figure that out then. First of all, if you could, Roger, select the point at which you want Carl to bring the army on the map. If you go over, just select a marker and kind of place it somewhere.
Well, we need to decide on the plan first. I think, yeah.
Sure. But either way, the army's going to need to go somewhere. So I just want to make sure that that's marked.
So,
and I'm not talking about 3 points because 3 points is obvious, right?
Well, the other point of reference is Rift, right?
Correct.
Carl told us that he needed a person or a place that he could be familiar with in some way, and Rift by name is the easiest to get to because we know where he is via our map because we gave him one of the rings, right?
Sure.
So our original plan, as I understood it, was take 6 days, bring the entire army to the 3 points, then spend 6 days and bring the entire army to the Terror.
Okay.
So if we need to get there faster, we can do it faster. It's the same amount of days, 2 out, 2 back for each trip, and just move a third of the army at a time. The downside is that we're leaving Carl stranded as far from the army as possible, and us stranded as far from the army as possible. Right? We get there faster, but we have less flexibility. Right? And the rest of the army still arrives at the same time that they otherwise would. So, I mean, I guess I put it to the group, right? Do we want to get to Relic as fast as possible? With the understanding that there may be consequences to our haste, in the army being strung out across multiple places, and Carl not being able to help, maybe for multiple days, or do we want to get the army ready to move once, then ready to move a second time?
I mean, if what Ulrich is saying is true, then we should probably do it as fast as possible so we can maybe shut the rift and get the situation mostly dealt with. Then we might not even need the rest of the army.
That's true. It really depends on how long we think it's going to take. Because the whole army being at the triple point is also valuable. For example, if we get it resolved in one day, we still have to bring the whole army to the triple point to then go assist Necrata, right?
Yeah.
I don't think one plan is better than the other. They just have different benefits and different drawbacks.
So I'll describe basically what we're kind of talking here. So one option is to bundle the entire army into Carl's wagon. He goes to triple points, goes across the wall, gates to the area of the tear with 1,000, and they unload. The next day he teleports back, and then the next day he brings more people. So it front loads the troop count so that there's 1,000 there on day one. If we do it where we're moving the entire army, it'll be 1,000 a day to load everyone into triple point, and then 1,000 a day to load everyone to the tear. So 1,000 people will arrive at the tear in 4 days, and by days not 4 days. Yeah, 4 days. It looks like it'll be 6 days altogether. It'll be a week if we get the whole army there, right? Because 2 teleports to get there, that's 1 day. 2 teleports to get back is another, right? So that's the math. So it's 6 days altogether instead of the actual 12. I think 12 we were talking about like teleports in general.
It's 12 days to get. So it's 1 day to get the army there, to get a third of the army there.
Correct.
Then 1 day for him to go back. Oh,
I think I remember. I remember the thing. So I think let me just double check that. But go ahead while I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. he could do teleport and gate. So I think originally we were just thinking he could do one or the other. I think.
Okay. That explains why I'm thinking it is double.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, if it's 6 days either way, we might as well get there on day one, right? I'm on board with that now.
Heck yeah.
So the question is, when you get there on day one, do you wait for Carl to come back with the rest of the army before you engage? Or are you going to start attacking immediately when you get there?
Are we coming in waves, or are we going as one big mob?
Well, because the plan hinges on Carl being with you when you go to the Abyss, but Carl's also the linchpin in getting the rest of the army there. So you can't do both. If you want to go into the tear, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I personally think our best bet is to get there and then go in as soon as we get the chance.
That sounds like what Ulrich wants to, correct?
Ulrich's currently on BRB. Was he back?
So Ulrich is back. Yes, Ulrich would. I think Ulrich is in a rush, but he also doesn't want to be stupid about this. I think he will put his life on the line. Far better to give everyone a chance. He's still human enough.
All right. So, do we try and muster the whole army in 6 days there, or are we attacking on day one?
I think if we get there on day one, we can evaluate.
Okay.
Yeah, it really depends.
Like the risk, if it's going to take 12 days, regardless, is that the army can't arrive all at once. But if it's 6 days, then that's not really an object, right? The whole army does get to arrive all at once. Or as fast as can be expected, right? So if we can get there and we can decide what to do, and act after, and in the worst case, at least something is there, and we can do something.
Fair.
So, yeah, I'm not concerned about it being like 4 days between each third of the army arriving. It's only 2 days between. That's significantly better.
Okay. So it sounds to me like if you are going to go there and evaluate, you don't want to just show up right in the middle of things. You might want to be in a more obscured area. Is that correct?
That's a fair assessment.
Okay. Can you think of any areas around where you were when the tear happened that might be pragmatic for this?
The tear's like surrounded by mountains, isn't it?
It is.
So I gotta check the map. And what is the... Like, I think we may have discussed this already, but is the army just all fighting dudes, or is it a mix of, like, ranged?
You have not gleaned that information from Rift, but you did see on your way out of Saraseta a horde of flying and crawling and battering creatures attacking Saraseta itself before you flew
The
away.
demons are strange and numerous, for sure. I meant our army.
Well, you can presume based off of the different types that you encountered in your journeys that what there may be available, and then some based on who you encountered during the council. Correct?
No, I meant like this the Seregen army.
Oh, I see.
Is it
So
just 3,000 spearmen, or like? Is it a mix
so
of
it's mostly on foot, folks. As you know, there was a draft, so there is a lot of green in this army.
at least 2 months.
So a lot of them have been outfitted with like spears and defensive objects. There is a lot of people with long range things to try and keep a distance. But everybody's outfitted with melee weapons as well. There is a small contingency of horses, but they will not be able to come with the army should they be coming in this method of teleportation.
Yeah,
Thank you. That helps.
the reason to take the slow route via the triple point is that we could gate the horses in.
Right. Yes, it would be 12 days if we used gate. Specifically.
I think it actually only adds 2 or 3 days. If everyone else can come by teleport also. But because there's only one additional trip for the
correct, yes,
or 2 additional trips for the horses, but yeah.
They'd kind of have to set up and ride through quickly, but yes.
So we might actually even offer to bring them to the triple point and leave them there, and then have them be brought in with the second group, perhaps. So if they can accompany us through the first time with gate and then stay and then accompany the second group forward from a gate from the triple point there, it wouldn't even add any days, as long as they can go through at the same time that we can bring the rest of them through Carl's shop.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be basically when he decides to use gate versus teleport, right? So in this case, he'd use gate at the beginning, and then he's teleport on the second spell. And while he's kind of doing that, then, when he does gate the next time, as long as people are ready, they could potentially go through the gate when he's coming back. You know what I mean? It would just have to be very coordinated and whatnot. Probably would need to mark an area at triple points where Carl would be doing this, so that people can kind of rally up and have a coordinated time when he would be doing this, provided that he can do it on time and whatnot. All right, I like this idea. I'm digging it. Okay, so with that being said, you bring the plan to Marius. Marius decides to follow that plan. It seems like Marius, Ulrich has kind of, and Roger kind of gone over to the side of coming with the army. So he will be amidst this battle. He selects a certain number of nobles to be part of the first wave. And also orders all horses to rally to a specific point. Being that we are going to be teleporting, he disregards using the bridge as a whole and puts the rallying point on the road just prior to the bridge, so that people can kind of clear the road and be ready to kind of ride through or walk through, depending on things. So he's kind of picking up your ideas and running with it. Carl basically says that he can hold the gate open for a minute. And he's going to make it as wide as he can make it, which is 20 feet in diameter. So it'll be the whole road with a little bit more on either side, since the road is, I believe, 15 feet wide, correct?
Yeah.
So the cavalry, the horses, will be going through, and they will be staying at triple points for this first day, while the first portion of the army crosses over the wall and goes into Relic proper. That being said, this all goes without a hitch. There is a stream of the first wave that enters through Carl's shop and gets loaded into his basement. His basement, as you know, is a large training area that he has made 3 tiers of scaffolding where folks can stand on, and you jam pack that area and his lobby as much as possible. There are not quite the number that you wanted to fit in the bag, but the rest walk through the gate and load up with and stay with the horses as the rest of the party walks with Carl across the wall, with the army still kind of in his cart, right? Because he's shrunk down the cart. He's not going to unshrink it till he's teleported. With that being said, he's like, all right, I need a destination.
Yarvik points in the general direction of Relic.
Let's get out Ulrich's map.
Ulrich supplies the map, the globe.
And let's see the location of Rift on that map.
So you do see the black circle resembling what must be the temporary wall that was erected on the map. So the black circle looks identical to the black lines that you used to see on the map that cut off the map from the rest of the world. Rift is right up against it. And now there's a whole bunch of scribbles. So now we can't see it.
Scribbles. I can't erase those. I don't know how.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Why are more things appearing?
I'm attempting to erase them unsuccessfully.
That's not helpful.
Yeah, you could delete those.
Oh, and Rift is gone too. I'll have to get a new marker.
Oh no, this battle's going downhill.
Wait, Wombat, if you hit Control Z, they'll come back.
Yeah,
and then...
it was a bunch of ones ago. I have more markers, don't worry. I'm just going to copy a different one. But suffice it to say, he's up against the circle.
We don't want to be immediately next to that, but some small distance away. Oh, that's much further away than expected. Okay, there we go. Get us a little bit away from that. On this side, of course. We'd like to be less than a day's walk from there.
Less than a day's walk from there. Okay.
The closer the better, but obviously not too close, you know.
So, when you cast a spell, you speak the name of a specific creature. If that creature is on a plane other than the portal opens, you gain no special power over the creature and it is free to act. So...
Oh wait, we're talking gate?
Sorry, teleport. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah.
Teleport.
Yeah, for gate, we have to gate to the triple point, and then we're teleporting out from there.
Correct. Yeah, that's what we did. I just confused myself, that's all. All right, so we're selecting a destination. So you described, so there's a few areas that where you're pretty familiar. Without wanting to, Carl points out that with Rift being that close to the gate, he doesn't think it would be wise to teleport directly near the gate because magic is weird around gates. That's how he phrases it. So he suggests an area that you might be familiar with in the vicinity of it. 3 places come to mind. The edge of the caldera when you watched the tear open. The forest where you were attacked by those fly mosquito demons. Actually, those are the only 2. I guess the third would be where the where you found the Eternals, but that's much farther up to the north.
How close was the forest to that?
That was where you immediately camped right after the tear, so it was within flying distance. Because
Yeah, but we flew a ways though.
you flew for an hour, yes. As far as
so
the Quetzalcoatl flies, yeah.
So we might be a couple of hours walk if we teleport there.
Yes.
Ultimately, not a huge deal, but maybe far enough that we wouldn't be able to convene with the army tonight. Not before we send, like far enough away that we might not be able to seriously talk with the leaders of Relic before we send Carl back.
I mean, it's early day. You'd be able to make it there by walking for sure.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. I think that's the safer option. It's possible their wall is at the edge of the caldera. So I don't want to be popping into existence right next to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How does everyone else feel about that?
Works for me.
We're going to be a little bit careful. Seems like a good idea.
Look, I'm trying. I do want us to charge into the abyss and deal with this problem, but also I want to not die before that happens.
So that would not be conducive to our plan. Also, letting a whole army of dudes just kind of die would also be a bit sad as well. Less sad, but still sad.
Worrisome.
Unuseful.
Unuseful.
All right. So everybody's good with this plan?
Yeah.
All right. Then basically Amethyst, you describe the area that you would like Carl to take. Do you use any visual cues or any assistance with describing this?
I still have a use of silent image, so I'll probably use that.
Okay.
And to give him as best a visual representation as I can of the area.
Sure.
Describe what things are around it and what the view is like and all that, and show what I can with the image.
Excellent. Give me a history check, please.
Oh, I actually rolled okay.
Okay. Give me a percentage die roll, please.
And /roll 1d100. 73.
All right. Carl is successful in teleporting you to the location you describe. Very good. Okay, so let me bring up the map.
Let's go.
It might take a moment to load.
Let's go slowly.
Let me know when it's loaded for you.
I see something.
Okay.
Looks like one of those color tests, Like if you can see the number in the circle.
All right. So the Brunhild symbol, as requested, is the symbol of where the army is. It is So you are in the forests to the southwest of the caldera. You can just barely make out the caldera on the map, but you do not exactly see that as of yet. However, you do hear it. Immediately, you're reminded of the drone, Roger, as you arrive in this space. The drone that you heard of the demons before that attacked you in this place. You even see some evidence of some of those demons' corpses in the area. You managed to land the group right in the space you camped before. So excellent work with that silent image. That drone, it's louder and sounds more like a crowd, the roar of a crowd, like at a royal decree or whatnot. It's coming from the northeast. Currently, the army is still in Carl's bag, and by bag I mean wagon, his baggin.
Well, we need to move in the direction of that noise, don't we?
Are you going to keep the army in there, or allow them to start unloading into the forest while you go to investigate?
I think we want the army out, right?
Yeah, it will take them some time, I think.
Yeah, it's not going to be instantaneous. So
yeah, let them get their bearings, get them out of their cramped quarters, give them a chance to breathe, acclimate to the new area,
With the stretch,
get a vibe for the place now that it's under attack and not pretty and all that shit. And then we can work on marching them the rest of the way.
Sure.
And while they're doing that, we can do a little bit of scouting.
Okay. What does the party want to do to scout?
I don't know. You're all faster than me now.
Ulrich will look at Jorvik.
That's kind of your area of expertise, right, friend?
Let's go see what we shall see. We shall see. But Roger's still sneakier than all of us, so let's saddle up and ride. But without the horses.
All right, so you're heading out of the woods and going out on foot to kind of investigate.
Yep. So is this caldera in a depression, or is this? How are we? Are we able to look over? What's the topography of the land?
Sure.
We have to go.
So the caldera rises up and then dips down into a bowl, if you remember. So when you were encountering Orcus for the first time, you kind of peeked over the lip and he wasn't able to see you. And then the party was able to fly low on the Quetzalcoatl/Belzian and fly into the forest before being spotted. So presumably whatever's inside the bowl would be hard to see until you get there. Is the party using anything to aid them in stealthing as they move forward?
Can't speak for everybody, but Belzian doesn't make any footstep noise.
Jordan's kind of looking around at everything, at the larger than life trees and whatnot, looking excited.
Roger is as stealthy as he normally is. I don't know if he'd be taking any extra precautions We are looking for people to get their attention to let them know that we are here. Ultimately,
Also, yeah, there's going to be a giant wall, and I'm assuming there's a defensive force, right? Like this is an active battle zone.
So you emerge from the woods and are immediately struck by the wrongness that is a column of blackness that rises from the sky to the north, into the sky from the northeast of you. Presumably, this is the new wall. It rises impossibly high. It almost feels like it could fall over onto you at any point, being that it's a column of black tendrils ascending to the sky. It rises out of the northwest from the horizon.
Yarvik just files away mentally, internally. Well, I guess we know who put up the wall, or how they built the wall. And he thinks that to himself. Do we see any of our allies anywhere around? Or are they, because they're supposed to be engaged in active combat, right?
Not on the field at this point, and I'm going to do what I'll do here is the army will be Brunhild. Since Ulrich has a good token shape, I'm going to put him out on the field as the group, and I'm going to need to do that in the token layer. There we go. All right. So you emerge from the forest there. The squares are mostly to scale. I tried to match what the scale of the map is. So you have about 4-ish miles until the caldera. Roger, with your perception passive, you see that there are things flying through the sky around the wall, engaged in active combat. You see some winged creatures blasting fire at other creatures that are trying to circumvent them. You see flocks of flying creatures that are smaller than rocks attacking and harrying larger creatures that may be rocks themselves. So there's definitely some active aerial combat around the wall.
I'll pass this information on to the party and say a relic is defending there. We'd best get our forces into position and do what we can to assist.
We're within ring range of what's his name? The Dragon King guy.
We're not. It's only 1 mile.
I thought it was 20 miles.
Nah, we're 4 miles to the caldera. It's 1 mile.
And the caldera is about 20 miles across.
Let's move closer. So that's what we're here. It's what we're here for.
Let's bring the army with us.
Yeah, that's fair. There's not. I mean, we'll be far enough ahead that we can skirmish. But yeah, there's not really any point in delaying anything.
Yeah, and we don't want to travel without them in case they get into trouble, right?
And I suppose I'll stay here? Or shall I come too?
Carl, are you not with the army as they leave your bag?
Well, I assume if we're bringing the whole army that you're waiting till the army completely exits the bag, which will take several hours for everyone to get out.
How long did it take them all to go in?
Several hours.
I would because we're only packing 1,000 people in there.
Yes.
I would assume that 1,000 people can get out in tops like 20 or 30 minutes.
let's call it a even hour then. You raise a good point. For them to all get out and get accustomed to the situation and get their equipment out and ready to go, I would say it would take an hour to mobilize an army of that size.
Okay.
I would say if Carl is willing to travel with us, then we should bring him with us because he is a unique resource.
Well, presumably, you'd like me to go and get more of the army tomorrow. If we get into combat, do you want to risk that? Is my question.
I don't want to risk you staying alone in these woods by yourselves. Demons may not be the only danger here.
Fair enough.
We gotta protect Carl.
Plus, once we get the lay of the land, we can also, Carl will have the ability to deploy reinforcements closer to us.
I would like
It would only be too far separated from our supply line.
Roger, pick a
Agreed.
number between 1 and 3, please.
I'm a big fan of 1.
Okay.
You rolled a 3.
I did.
I specifically picked 1.
Yeah, so 1 and 2 would have been 1, 2, 3 and 4 are 2, and
Gotcha.
5 and 6 are 3. Your brother is not in this force.
Gotcha.
And I know you know this because you would have seen every soldier that came through. You would have seen your brother.
And Roger would have already taken a look at which units were coming and
Correct.
determined that, I think.
I would agree, yes. But now you know as a player. All right, so you head out with the army, and I will kind of group these together. There are streams of demons that like one-offs or two-offs that seem to be kind of dotting the landscape. None of them approach the party as they spot the party. Some dart off to the north or to the south or to the west or east away from the party and the army. But none engage the group. And no flying figures approach either. Are you moving at a quick pace, at a march?
We're moving at like a brisk pace, but I don't think we're sprinting.
Okay.
How long can the army move at a quick pace?
I would say 3 squares.
And then they would need to slow down?
Yeah, back to march.
I would say a standard march. We would want a quick pace once we start getting, I don't think we're ready for, I don't think we need to move that quickly.
Okay. We could always choose to move faster later if we have to, but we're already on the pace of days, I think,
Right.
as for what we were expecting our mobilization to look like. So taking another hour isn't really that big of a deal.
Okay. And are you scouting ahead of the army as it's moving?
Yeah, I think we want to... maybe we should leave Jordan back with the army just because familiarity, if nothing else. And Carl back with the army, but the rest of us, I think, probably want to scout ahead a square or so.
Yeah, we're kind of scouting, skirmishing.
Yeah, we've been here before when we're also real good at stuff.
Okay.
I think the goal is to stay like within ring shot, so to speak,
Yes.
so that we can radio back if there is a problem.
I like this. Yep, makes sense. All right, I'm tracking. All right, so as the party moves closer, you get to the lip of the caldera. You can hear the noise getting ever-presently louder as you get to it. You can hear signs of a large battle over the rise. And now the rest of the party, you can see that there are dragons and rocks fighting in the sky against swarms of demons. Some looking like the ones that you fought in the woods, actually. Others looking like... there's a few a few larger ones, but mainly they seem to be kind of more like a vulture-looking creature with wings. There may be a Baylor out there, Belzian, but you're not sure at this point. Based off of your descriptions that you were given, you're not sure if if it's a Baylor or not. But you only see one so far. Go ahead.
Are they really big and have a whip?
You don't see a whip, and that's why you're confused.
Yeah, couldn't be a Baylor, no.
Do you go over the rise?
I think not being spotted would be helpful. Like, are we able to creep
So
over the
yeah,
rise?
go ahead and sneak at this point. Go ahead and roll stealth checks if you want. You are in the middle of a big field, though.
Well, the ones in the field saw us.
Well, we have the ridge line, so we can just kind of do our little Kilroy above the ridge line and kind of peek over and see what's going on.
Oops. 26, I guess.
Why did it roll twice?
It rolls with advantage because of the Boots of Elvenkind, but that's only for sound-related stealth, I think.
And it would be the first
I think
roll,
it's
so
accidental.
27.
My stuff is rolling 3 times a lot of times.
That might be.
Oh, yeah.
Zippo is yelling that he wants to. Once he sees his former master, he's going to destroy her as loudly as possible. You're probably calling her name at this point.
For sure. And see if I have the name written down still.
You do. It's somewhere.
Do we see any signs of any kinds of like prepared battlements or lines of demarcation between what our allies hold and like are there any like command structures? Do we see tents, flags, anything like that, or is it just like bedlam down there?
So I'm just waiting for 2 more checks. Roger and Ulrich.
You need a perception from us?
Stealth.
Stealth. Oh, my area of expertise.
1 above Jaeger. All right. All right. So you creep over the ridge, and I know you saw the icons before, so I'm going to re-reveal them.
Just a few days.
You see the horde. So each one of those individual icons is actually 4 of those. So there are 4 times as many as you see here. As you can see, like we don't have people taking up 1 icon, right? Like that they'd have to be much smaller in order to do that, right? So just as a heads up, this is just a symbolic look at the mass that is the demonic horde. So the horde is fully engaged around the wall. There are no openings on any side. They are all kind of trying to break into what you can see at the center of the caldera, just barely, Amadeus, you see on your side of things that the wall has several eternal warforged that are focused directly at the wall, presumably to keep it up. It is an active wall only because these figures from what it seems like. And the reason you get this impression is because the rest of the army of Relic is entrenched around the wall itself. So I have not depicted them just to make sure that it's not too messy and so that there's not too many icons on the board, because I don't want to. I'm sure your computers are already struggling with what we have here to load it up. So ultimately, what this gray green area around between the demons and the wall is the forces of Relic, entrenched there, dug in, walls of stone and spike and wood and metal, kind of trying to fend off these creatures. It seems like this battle has intensified very recently, perhaps earlier today or last night. There are forces, of course, also flying, but none of the flying forces are engaging with the land forces at this point. I think they're too entertained by the other flying forces, right? So
just to get this conceptually in my head,
mm-hmm.
Our allied forces are in a defensive circle with their backs to the wall,
Correct.
the black, right? And these demons are currently fighting an offensive encirclement to try to get back into or collapse the wall. And we are behind all of them.
Yes. We're gonna break the siege if all goes well.
Got it.
Now it's a weird siege because the defensive emplacement is preventing more demons from coming through the hole.
Right, exactly.
So-
This is a unique encirclement.
This might be a justification to use our last sending scroll, or to have Jordan send to Rift and say, we have 1,000 soldiers here, but it looks like your situation is a lot worse than what it was yesterday. What do you want us to do?
Yeah, is there any way that we can... It might be noticed if Rift were to leave or to fly to us. We need to find a way that we can meet with him unobserved to kind of get the lay of the land and talk.
I mean, I might be able to get there. Between Longstrider, Pass Without Trace, and Invisibility, I could probably get there.
But then we can't communicate with you either.
That's true.
You do not see any dragons on the ground, by the way, Amethyst.
Either he's deeply entrenched or he's actively fighting in the air.
And what is each square? A mile? 5? What is each
mile? 1.4 miles.
What's that in metric?
Just
Just kidding. I have a on the fly translator thing.
Each mile is 1.6 kilometers, so 1.4 times 1.6.
2.25, roughly.
I'm gonna make this easier
give or take. It's like
for
2.2.
the grid. I'm gonna make each square a mile, just so we can more easily know intimately how far the rings stretch. A 1 square diameter, right? Or 1 square proximity around the square that we're in, right?
Okay.
That
works.
I made it 1.4 based on what the map showed for like the distance between two mountains, but it just makes more sense to make each one a mile. So, and it doesn't really affect the relative perspective of things, right? So
Yeah.
things are bigger or smaller than they should be in this map.
Not to scale.
Yeah, definitely not the scale. It's just an approximation. It's only a model.
But we can be sure that there are quite a few demons.
I think because of the difficulty of getting there, that we'd have to go through a couple of miles of siegers to get to it. We should probably send to Rift and ask what we can accomplish reasonably. Whether we should wait, whether we should attack now. We may need several sending spells, but Jordan can send multiple times.
He can. He has adjusted some of his spells for battle, but he did keep 3. He did keep sending as one of his.
What a guy.
One of his options. All right, so what are we messaging Rift?
Time to pull up the old word counter.
Something like expeditionary force arrived.
I'm just imagining this.
Out comes the abacus.
The group peeks over the edge, sees a whole bunch of demons swarming around their allies, and they're like, "Whoo, boy!" and turns around, puts their back to the mound, and starts texting.
But with an abacus, yes. Basically, that's it.
That's very much what happened.
Yeah, something like expeditionary force arrived at full strength in 3 days. What do?
At full strength in 6 days.
6 days, yeah. What do?
At full strength in 6 days. What? Well, let's finish that question.
That is the question.
What can we do? That was 13 words. We have 12 more. So, I don't think this group is equipped to fight, 100,000 demons, which is what it looks like we might actually be set up to fight here. If each one of these is a squad, we would be fighting thousands of demons. And individually, a demon is more than a match for a human wielding a spear. That might not be the case with us, but we're also like fucking level 12, right?
So, Belzian, I will say that the majority of the demons you see on the ground are what seem to be the ones described as dretches.
I was brief for, reasons, but Belzian did explain to everybody vividly what a dretch was, which is described as a terrible lower demon that looks dopey, not like the dwarf dopey, just a weak little piece of shit.
Oh, so
I think
maybe
like 10 soldiers might be able to take out one of those.
yeah, so our soldiers might actually be a match for those.
That's the fairly common one out there.
The bluer ones are look kind of like a gorilla with red fur. To the left, you see creatures that look like they have pincers with horns and 4 arms. The pincers are on the larger arms, and then there's smaller arms with claws, and they have horns on their head and like a mantle. You don't see any snake people in your area of the army, but you do see closer to the front some of the Hezrao, the ones that look like the spiky Gorons.
Yeah, there was a large creature that resembled, quote, demonic Gorons.
Hezrao, the four-armed dudes would be Glabrazu. Fucked up looking gorilla things might be Nalfeshni. All kinds of shit that we definitely do not want the little dudes in our army to get anywhere near, because those things will fuck them up.
Say it's gonna take most of us to get rid of one of those guys.
Yeah. And like the weird rocks were being described earlier, the vulture demons, and also that would be something that we probably do not want the army to face by themselves. Like, if the army is on dretch cleanup duty, that might be all that we got.
Able to hold the Zerg rush.
Yeah, I was assuming we would be assisting with fortified battlements facing inward, not facing outward, where we can't reinforce them.
Can we build a wall around the caldera?
The Roman army could back in the day, but they were rolling up to combat with tens of thousands of people for classical armies. We have a medieval army of a couple thousand dudes.
Yeah, we have light footmen. We don't have cavalry. We don't have.
The cavalry will be showing up like on our next trip out here in 2 days, right?
Yes.
So our army is just not equipped to fight things that are we don't have enough people to fight things that are the equal of 50 men, right?
Wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, that's just like not a thing that this army is capable of fighting, even if we blessed every single last weapon in the army. That wouldn't solve that problem.
Okay, so
we have 12 words. What do we want?
How did we ask him how would he like to establish regular communication with us? The important thing first is communicate.
Let's make that 16 words and save the what can we do for later. We need better communication. How? Question. I guess we can tell him that our reinforcements can't beat an army this large, right? But I think he already knows that.
Maybe ask him if he's got the people ready to go into the rift. Or go into the fair.
Yeah, like we might be making a desperate play here, in which case the army doesn't matter.
That's what I'm starting to think is that our force is best going to be used as a distraction to kind of make a whole. If the ultimate play is to get us to the rift and get us in the rift, that's a hard look, but that's some calculus. That's some calculus that we're going to have to do as to how much of this force are we willing to expend to get us where we need to go.
I mean, do we need to expend any of it? Pass without trace, and we could probably all just walk through there.
If we could get them moved around an area, try to create one or more distractions, get some kind of dispersion. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we do it like a wedge formation and just try to drive a wedge. That will never work. But if we could get enough of them pulled aside or away to thin the ranks a little bit to make that pass easier, because we've all got to get through there, right?
Well, I mean, if we're assuming we're getting mages to come in and help us, it's probably safe to assume one or more of them is a dragon. Then it would be safe to assume that we can fly in with passive auditories. We'd be stealthier, and they wouldn't see us fly directly into it.
Maybe.
Well, let's wait till we hear. Let's wait till we hear back, and then we can start. We'll need to strategize about that. But
we can ask another question or two. So currently our message is expeditionary force arrived at full strength in 6 days. We need better communication. How?
How many we got left? Are we able to ask something like, help us get in Tear?
We could ask that. But part of what I was hoping we were doing is that the people who knew about what was going on here in great detail could answer some of those questions for us and then leave it to us to execute the plan, right?
Right. So we don't have to jam this thing up right now. Like, it's once we can have more nuanced discussion once we can have real-time communication. The first hurdle is establishing the real-time communication. So yeah.
I can let Rift know Seregen army could be a distraction, but it will be a sacrifice, right?
Yeah, something along the lines of Seregen army can distract, but no more.
Yeah. Demon Seregen's army
only strong enough to distract. I think that still stays under the word limit.
Distract. If that. All right, let me count us our words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have used 23 words.
Ship it.
I can put please advise at the end, but I think that's implied.
12's bless.
Perhaps
finger wave.
Standing by, or
stay calm.
Or we could rearrange the words here to say Necrata under attack also.
I don't think we need to really talk too much about Necrata there. I think it's kind of... But, I mean, I like what you have. I would say, if you're really just looking to fill up those 2 words, love Zippo.
I would rather... because we're in a spot where we're not communicating all of the information we have, I would rather use the words to communicate information.
I know, I'm mostly teasing. But I don't think that we need to really convey the Necrata issue to them too much. I don't know that it benefits anything here.
If Rift would have been inclined to say, this is hopeless, abandon us to die, then I would rather know that now.
Okay, that's fair.
So, if we can help, we have promised our help and we are here. But if we can't, and Rift thinks we can't, I would rather him know that we could be elsewhere helping someone else. So.
Well, I mean, given the forces that are arrayed here, if the Necrata's getting pounded, I don't think we're going to be able to help them either. If the demons are deploying the same forces here as there, yeah, that's not great.
I mean, better here than in Seregen. That's all that we could really say. um, but I'll post the draft and y'all take one look over it before I hand it over to Wombat. So, Expeditionary Force arrived at full strength in 6 days. Seregen's army only strong enough to distract. We need better communication. How? Necrata under attack also.
I approve.
All right.
Sounds good.
Send it.
Could you post it in the Roll20 as well for me, just so I can type it out? Out of curiosity, for those inquiring minds who want to know, you have to respond right away or lose your response, correct?
I don't know how it works in 5th edition.
So sending, I guess I'm gonna just pull. I'm gonna pull the
Me
spell.
too.
It's one of those. But what if we check the wording and just know?
All right, I'm getting the 2014 version, and I will display thing. Creature hears message.
Can answer in a like manner immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, the duration is 1 round, and I would assume that is the there and back again for the message.
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to be kind of quick with this since he only really gets 3 seconds to think about it, right? So.
Got 3 seconds his time, but our time is different. Time is relative.
Depends on how you want to approach it and how you want to play things with superhuman intelligence, which most dragons have.
I would take pause as well.
Jordan kind of speaks the words out as he hears them in his head. The elves are out there too. Swarm came without warning. War of attrition. A thrust would bring us together if coordinated. I can't land presently. Baylor.
Okay.
Ooh, the Baylor are the big ass guys with the whips I was talking about.
Well, I don't think we're in a position to fight one of those. But if we can find these elves and coordinate with them.
My guess is they're somewhere in the tree.
How could we how would we indicate to them that that we want to talk?
Assuming that the main elf guy is with them, we could always try to send him and see.
We asked Riff about Reynard, but far as we know, he may still be in Necrata. And it might be a waste of a sending spell to try today. How many sending spells can you do, Jordan?
I can check, but ultimately we can kind of navigate that next time because we are at time for tonight. So Jordan will answer that asked question at the beginning of next session. But any final thoughts before we end for tonight, or any notes you want to put into the chat for yourselves for our next session?
Watch out for the demons.
Dear future Belzian. Watch out. Love Belzian.
That's a lot of dudes.
Some good stuff to know.
Octung demons.
Allegro.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. The warnings of next time. We will see you when we see you for our next session. So we will not be able to meet next time, folks, because the 25th I have a work thing. Our company has an acquisition that's running till like 8 each night next week. So it's going to be not presently available for me, which is why we met on the 18th instead. So if we're going with our normally scheduled session, that would be the 8th. We could also do the 1st if we wanted to do that one instead. It's up to the party.
Yeah, I'm not going to be available for the 1st.
So the 8th it is.
8th is going to be better for me.
Yeah.
The 8th is a regularly scheduled
great.
session, so that works out for me, which leaves our last 3 sessions as the 8th, the 22nd, and the 6th. All right, so we will see you all on the 8th of March. No, the 8th of April. Sheesh. For our next session. And in the meantime, be safe, be well, and be not a demon. Have a great night.